Yo, don't scroll. This is the place about me. Some thief in Mechanic at Jamaica in a problem. And the Jamaican mechanic there in a problem now because guess what? The facility a be a Chinese mechanic. Just look at it. State of the art facility just opened. Down a machine and done come in. And look at them.
Look on the Chinese them. Not even Igla. They won't get a chance to sell on the roadside. Watch them.
This guy uploaded a video onto social media and is causing a ruckus, to be honest, because he's basically doing a promotion, or what looks to me like a promotion, of this Chinese mechanic business. And my initial thoughts was, why, I don't know. Anyway, let the video play for us and then we'll come back. All right?
Don't scroll. This is the place about me. Some thief in Mechanic at Jamaica in a problem. And the Jamaican mechanic there in a problem now because guess what? The facility a be a Chinese mechanic. Just look at it. State of the art facility just opened. Down a machine and done come in. And look at them. Any iron vehicle wanna have problem but we wanna can't find. Just look at it. It's just come out this morning and the man in an engine already. Oil, service parts, you have to kill. New machinery, and a lot of them soon come. Any vehicle, as long as they have a 4 or 6 wheel or 10 wheel, you're ready for them. Low end to high end, see there, everything then sort out. Service parts and rare. Yeah man, they're ready for everything. Any vehicle you have, any problem where you can't find. Then do electrical work, mechanical, and while you wait in a comfort and style. AC.
Right, so we'll make it pause and we're gonna go through it again because he said some things which for me raise alarm bells. To be honest, I can't believe what I've heard. I know on the surface this looks cool to many Jamaican people, but to me everything about this video rubbed me the wrong way, and I'll explain why. But at the same time, yeah, you know what, let's just jump into it because I'm not going Panawania. And this is not to have a dig at this man per se, because to be honest with you, he doesn't know any better. This is just me observing and just giving my opinion on it. But this is not for anyone to go at this guy. This guy is just, he's impressed by what he's seen. And I'm going to assume that he's not been paid to do this video as a promotion. And it's more like he went in there, probably had a vehicle, he checked in there. And he's just basically impressed with what he's seen. But anyway, let's go.
Don't scroll. This is the place about me. Some thief in Mechanic at Jamaica in a problem. And the Jamaican mechanic.
No, him just say some thief in Mechanic in Jamaica. No, my first problem with that is that's a broad sweeping brush, brother. You can't say that about all Jamaican mechanics. Everybody has a horror story about Jamaican mechanics or American or Canadian or British or whatever the mechanics are around the world that, has been dishonest with their customers. Everybody have that story, but I can guarantee you that's in the minority. That's not in the majority. So it's not fair to paint, starting out this video, implying that the majority, if not all, the Jamaican mechanics are dishonest in that way. They're not all thief in mechanics, brother. I disagree with that. And I'm not a mechanic, but I'm just saying that's not fair.
Ain't a problem now because guess what? The facility a be a Chinese mechanic.
Well, here's my second problem with that. He said this Chinese facility here is pure Chinese inside it. As if the implication there is to say because it's a bunch of Chinese, their expertise and they know exactly what they're doing and they're better than the Jamaican mechanic. And again, I don't like that sort of utterance that just comes across, and I don't think he meant it in that way, but that's how it comes out. That's exactly how it comes out.
Look at it. State of the art facility just opened. Down a machine and done come in. And look at them.
State of the art machine is my iron rod. Anyway, continue.
Any iron vehicle wanna have problem but we wanna can't find. Just look at it. It's just come out this morning and the man in an engine already. Oil, service parts, you have to kill. New machinery, and a lot of them soon come. Any vehicle, as long as they have a 4 or 6 wheel or 10 wheel.
Wow, me have to stop it this again. Alarm bells are ring like crazy. No, initially I said, when the guy was knocking the stuff with the iron bar, I was saying, is that the state of technology? I was just having fun. I already know he said, machines are on the way and other equipments are on the way. It looks like it's a new facility just opened. The second thing he just says is, if I just jump back a little bit and listen to what him say.
Any vehicle, as long as they have on 4 or 6 wheel or 10 wheel.
Now, the fact that he says any vehicle, as long as it have 4 or 6 or 10 wheel, that's an alarm bell to me, and I tell you why. Most people who drives or owns a high-end vehicle would never, ever, rarely put their vehicle in what you could describe as a jack of all trade. They're not going to do it. If you own a car that's worth 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 pounds, you can then do the conversation. You can then do the currency conversion in Jamaican dollars to realize how much that is. People who owns high-end Porsches and Audis and so on, they're not going to put their vehicle in what is seen to be a jack of all trades. Not against jack of all trades mechanic, but they will more likely put their vehicle in what you know as a specialist, mechanics who work on 1 and 2 high-end vehicle that they specialize in. So if you're basically in most cases, if you're a German high-end specialist, you work on Audis, you work on BMWs and Mercedes, and not much more apart from that. So that's just my take on it. These people are not going to risk their very expensive cars being put in a jack of all trades where they got bus and lorries and truck and pro box and that kind of thing inside it. Nothing against pro box users, budget cars, nothing against it, but I'm just saying, if I have like a Toyota or a Nissan or whatever, then yes, I'll put it in there. But if I have more of a high-end vehicle, I'm simply not putting it in mechanic shops like this one. You'd never catch my vehicles dead inside that, no way. Now, that's not a slight to say these guys aren't particularly good mechanics. I'm just saying, they're not even skilled in these high-end vehicles. What I'm saying is, it's kind of a red flag if you're a high-end vehicle mechanic, but you are work on other types of vehicle, which is not high-end, everything from bottom to top. That to me is an alarm bell. So,
you're ready for them. Low end to high end. See,
nope.
Everything then sort out.
Whatever.
Spots and rare. Yeah, man, they're ready for everything.
So you can see the shelves look scanty and disorganized, and the shelves look like they're still in the process of being built. There's only got like 3 shelves up at the moment, the really bottom one, and then 2 more on top of that. So it looked like that rack probably gonna go up a few more shelves high. So it's not finished built yet, I don't think. Definitely not finished built yet, but hey, let him continue.
Vehicle, you have any problem where you can't find, then do electrical work, mechanical, and while you wait, you're waiting a comfort and style. AC.
So me mute him there, so I'm gonna make him go and talk, but I have a few things I need to say. First of all, I would have liked that guy to promote good, honest Jamaican mechanics. That to me would have been a winner. You could have gone out and find honest mechanics and promote their business on social media, unless you were paid by these Chinese to make this video. And I'm going to assume that you didn't, as I've said before. I'm just going to assume that you were a genuine customer who walked in, checked them out, and they're working on your van or your car or whatever it is, vehicle you got in there, and you're just impressed with what you see and you decide to, take out your phone and start recording. But the way this video is chopped and edited along the way tells me that this guy took the, video edit and then he went and did some editing to get it down to whatever length he wanted. So that's that in that respect. Now, the thing is, a lot of these people, I think, this is what I would say. I don't blame these Chinese for setting up this business, because at the end of the day, if there's foreign nationals come in, whether they set up hotels, wholesale, manufacturing, supplying services, restaurants, or mechanics or whatever, I can't blame them if they see opportunity and the locals are not taking advantage of that opportunity. You can't blame them for that. They're just doing what they wired to do, which is to create businesses and create market when they go to a new region and they see the locals are just not doing anything. Yes, you could argue that the government is not facilitating, and yes, you could blame the government. The government is not blameless in this situation, and I'll tell you why. Jamaicans who are interested in running any type of business, whether services or products or whatever, you need to start asking yourself a very, very important question. And that question is this: how comes foreign nationals from all over the world can come to Jamaica and set up businesses and be successful? Half the time they're not paying any taxes. Half the time they don't have the regulators coming down on them very heavily. And in many cases they can probably even get source funds from local banks, if not, because they got their own sort of mechanisms of sourcing funds anyway, to be honest. But I'm sure if they walk into the local banks in Jamaica or whatever, commercial banks, and they say, would they want a business loan to set up a business, very few questions will be asked. They will get it. They're not going to ask them if you have 10 million acres of land, and if you have 100,000 cow and goat, and if you have all kind of unnecessary stuff just to set up a business. You know what I mean? They're not gonna put them through grueling sort of situation. But for Jamaicans, it's very difficult for them to set up business and get funding. Now, here's the other thing. I think they need to set up something where they can make businesses easier and more accessible to local Jamaicans who are ambitious in that way and want to set up business. Two, if these Chinese are coming, I'm hoping that one, them pay tax, but I understand the government is probably going to give them a lower tax break, and the regulations are going to kind of relax to get them to come in and attract businesses. But here's the thing: in most of these cases, these Chinese people don't hire locals in their businesses. Like the man said, be your Chinese, as if that's a good thing. That's a bad thing, because I can tell you this as a fact: if the best sort of mechanics in Jamaica, honest, hardworking, highly skilled mechanics, go to China, their business wouldn't do well. And it's not because they're not good to compete. Their business won't be supported. They won't be supported. The Chinese people are very polite, they're very courteous. They'll come and talk to you. Hi, hello, how's the family, how's the young ones and whatever. But they're not going to dip in their pockets and pull out their wallet and spend any money with you. They're just not doing it. I know what I'm talking about. They're not doing it. They're just not going to do it. But the irony is they can come to other people's country, set up businesses, and those locals will, support the business dramatically, even to the point where the customer base is 100% locals, and they'll support it. They will not find the local people and support their businesses if they exist. They would rather go to the Chinese man or the Indian man because they probably sell it a bit cheaper. And they don't seem to understand the basics economics, that even if Mars Joe down the road or Mary or Jean or whatever run a little business and it's a bit more expensive than the Chinaman and the Indian man business, you still support them because their stuff is normally higher quality. You're talking about industry, building generational wealth. That person, that local person that you support, even though them goods might be more expensive, and them can't compete because the banks is not favorable to them. Those people, products tend to be at a higher quality. Those people, you're helping them, sending their children to school and feeding their family. That in return, those children growing up seeing the good examples of their parents running business and how successful their business were, what do you think those children are going to do? They're going to want to set up businesses, bigger businesses, more sophisticated businesses. And therefore, what you're having is you're creating more generational wealth that keeps the money in Jamaica. And when we do export something, we export something which is premium quality of Jamaica, born and grown, homegrown, in that respect. That has been nurtured, in that respect. So, to me, I can't really blame the Chinese, to be honest, because they basically just see the opportunity and they move in. And if the locals ain't banding together, the locals are going to say they don't have the facility to support them. And as I've said earlier, if the government is not putting in programs that make setting up and running a business easier and more accessible for local Jamaican businesswomen and businessmen, then that's the problem. When you see foreigners who can hardly speak English comes into your country, build big massive hotels, build big massive warehouses and service centers, build big massive call centers, build big massive mechanic shops, or whatever other services and products they come in to supply or produce or offer. And you're like, boy, we there for how many generations, go to school, go to some of the best schools in Jamaica, get high good grades, go to UWI, or what's the other technical college that they go to, but yet still there is no facility in the country to help give them grants. We're not talking about just loans, even grants as well. Not no chicken feed grants, not no cherry tricks grants. Sustainable grants that will actually help that person lift the business off the ground and sustain it so that you can build a solid foundation across the island in that respect. But that's not happening, and you have to blame the government for that. But then a foreigner can come in who hardly speak English and they can hit the ground running and set up businesses, and then they treat you with disrespect. I've seen so many videos on social media how these people disrespect the locals that come and shop inside their stores, and swearing at them and trying to throw them out. And some of them might be a bit difficult. We understand that, but the disrespect is just crazy that I've seen. Whenever I go to Jamaica, there's certain stores I just don't go into and shop with my money. I always find the locals and spend my money with them. And I think most foreigners who live abroad will understand that, because some of us, we have to go abroad to understand this, that when you come back home, we don't spend our foreign dollars and our foreign pounds with these Indians and Chinese and whatever. We spend it with the local people. We find the local street market, the local street food, the local shop, the local man running local bar. You know what I mean? We find those people because they're the entrepreneurs. Those are the people who are trying to build something, and we spend our money with them. Yes, do some of them take advantage, and that's the problem. A lot of these people take advantage of foreigners. Them say, you're a foreigner, they might charge you 10 times the price. We know they're ripping us off. Some of us say, you know what, I'm going to make him rip me off because, if it's going to help him feed his family and build a business and a good example for his children, then fine. But sometimes you have to question it and say, brother, you're too short-sighted. You know, look on the bigger picture. You can't compete with these foreigners when all you look for this rip off and scam and get a quick buck. How the country gonna have any sustainability in that way? You're gonna have a country which is gentrified with foreign businesses, and that's already happened in Jamaica in that respect. And if you think that I'm exaggerating, check out this next video from this woman, because she made a good point too.
Look for the Chinese them. Not even Igla. They won't get a chance to sell on roadside. Watch them. Imagine them get the wholesale them in Jamaica for rent. And the roadside left for black people and then come and take over the roadside. No tell me no. Look at this. Look on them. Look for the Chinese them. Not even Igla. They won't get a chance to sell on roadside. Watch.
Wow, that is crazy. Now, what's that in the bag? That looks like they got shoes in these plastic bags. Them shoes, they look dodgy, brother. I wonder if you guys know that shoes have a strict regulation in how they're made. Because some shoes, the rubbery material and the fake leather, the faux leather material, can have a bad reaction to your skin. Do you know that? A lot of times, them things can cause itchy skin, breakouts on your skin, make your foot swell up. All kind of things can happen. This is not, you know what I mean? And there's no comeback. And I'm sure these guys are not taking any let me just make it clear while I talk. I'm sure these guys are not taking any credit cards or Visa. You see the guy have him look a bag over him chest, wherever him have the bag. That's how them collect them money. It's all cash. And this is what I mean when I say the money is not going back into the community. This money is probably not taxed, and it's just cash in hand. Now for the local, them who are shopping, to them is cheap goods. War. It's no different than the container chicken them we see. People just so gullible, bro. They do things and they don't realize that you're doing things that's destroying your economy and destroying businesses as a whole amongst locals to grow. Now imagine if everybody was to go support these type of people in that respect. And again I keep saying Chinese people are very polite people. Not only that, Chinese are very industrious people. They will see an opportunity in terms of business and they'll take full advantage of it. So you can't really blame them for this. Now I understand what this woman is saying, the higglers they most help on the street side, they probably thinking that that's where them squeeze them out, because the banking system and all of that doesn't support the local Jamaican business person unless you come from the so-called upper class and you know a few people and you have the right connections. Then the bank might look in your way and try and help you out financially to set up a business. But if you come from downtown or you come from the lane or the square with zinc fence, and you're not going to get that support at all from the banking system, which is really sad. So yeah, I understand this, and a lot of people might say, but you also the Igla them, but them could be selling dodgy shoes as well. But from far as I know, unless things have changed, Higglers used to go to places like Florida and buy the stuff cheap and bring them back to Jamaica and sell it. If you're buying something cheap in Florida or wherever and bring it back to sell it, it means it's at least have some type of regulation within the US system that's protecting customers, because you can buy it cheap there. The problem is China's system completely different. It's not the same type of regulation or standard. The stuff I normally make to subpar quality, not as solid, not as reliable. We all know that already. Most people buy it anyway because it's cheap and cheerful, and they expect it for just ruin and mash up. After those shoes that you see by themselves, after 3 months, it start lift up and it start, disintegrate and tear apart. It's not built to last, and that's my point. So it is what it is. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell people, stop supporting these people, support your own businesses. And this doesn't mean, if they're legitimate and them set up business and them above board and them legal, that doesn't mean you mustn't support their business. I'm not saying don't support their business. I'm saying there's too much instances of ambitious, industrious, entrepreneurial people in Jamaica who would love the opportunity to set up a local business. Don't have to be not on a grand scale. To set up a business and get the support from their government and get the support from their banking system to help them out, and it's not forthcoming at all. But I bet you these guys that you see selling as higglers on the street side right there, so when them probably don't know that much English, I don't know. I bet you if them walk inside any bank, same way, they don't even have to put on a shirt and tie. They don't have to put on a suit. Same way, so them can walk into a bank and sit down with a bank manager or whosoever, the loan manager, and before you know it, them agree some big hefty loan and then build up some big factory and some big distribution system, and them import shoes by the thousands of the thousands. You understand me? And because they're very business minded in that way. But then if a Jamaican person try the same thing, but the amount of hurdles them have to jump through. You understand me? Again, I don't see no policeman or harass him and I tell him, say, do you have a license? Do you have a permit to sell your shoes here? Where you source your shoes from? Is this stolen goods you're selling, or is this legitimate goods? Do you have anything, documents to prove that this is a legitimate source where you get these shoes from and it's not some stolen shoes where they imported illegally? All of that stuff. They're not getting that. You know why? Because once them see these people as Chinese, them just think, they don't give them the same treatment that will give it them typical, them own local, get a different treatment. Not only that, even if the policeman approach these people, I'm willing to bet that even if the policeman approach him and say, listen, do you have a permit to set up, to have your stuff strewn along the sidewalk? You're obstructing the sideways. This is the walkway. You're obstructing the walkway. This is not designed for you to sell goods. You don't have a stall. You're not selling in a designated spot. And that's my point. You know why? Because all that would have happened is them probably would have dragged out some cash and just give the policeman a little cash, and the policeman just turn a blind eye and keep moving. But then when you say a higgler try to do the same thing, the amount of stall means you get kicked over and tear down and hallway. And people get hauled off to jail and police station and get beat up because they might try save or resist from them goods getting damaged. You understand me? And it's unfortunate. And I look at all of this and say to myself, you cannot have a country that's operating like this and expect it to have economic prosperity. It starts at the grassroots. You have to support local businesses. Support your own. The man around him look a patty shop, him look a jerk place, him look a whatever it is him got going. It might not be big as the Chinaman thing, but you need to support him. Banks need to start getting on board and say, listen, the man have a good idea, a good business idea, and he want to do X, Y, and Z that even at the same scale, because there's a lot of people in the diaspora who can do things on the same scale as these Chinese are doing, and even bigger, you know. Me, I tell you that as facts. But guess what? We know that if we come Jamaica with the skill, with the know-how, and with the bright ideas, the system that's in place will shut you down. They're not gonna do it unless you're willing to bribe them, or you know a man who can, you have connections. And it's just a corrupt system. And I'm like, a lot of people, some of them tried it and them have to close down the shop and go. Not because they're not good at business. Them realize that them can't run a sustainable business and contribute to the economy in the right way if it's corrupted. And that's the problem. So these two Chinamen, where you say right, or I don't know if they're Chinese, I'm assuming they are. They could be Filipinos, they could be from Thailand, you know what I mean? But all I'm saying is at the end of the day, give them a year. Within a year, not even a year, 6 months they're off the sidewalk. Then another 6 months they have a store. Then by a year and a half, 18 months, them start import in big massive drone. And next thing you know, by the time the next generation grow up, them in a parliament that set laws and rules. Just look in a parliament and you see what's going on right now. Half of those people in a parliament, their parents came over as foreigners, set up businesses and services and practices, yeah? And look at their children now. So this Chinaman, yeah, by the time your child and his child grow up, his child will be in government, running the country, setting the laws, and him father or him grandfather was a foreigner who started off with a small little business and a hustle. But you see, you support his business and put him in a position where they know your ball when the rules and the regulations them bite you. Because you allow this to happen and not think long term. You understand me? And that's the difference. I don't know what to say, bro. It is what it is.